Hello students, in the last video session you have seen basic forces of nature. Over there you must remember which is the weakest basic force, that is the gravitational force, which is the strongest basic force, that is the strong nuclear force. If you are asked to arrange all the basic forces of nature in the increasing order, what would you do please? Increasing order means from smaller magnitude force to larger magnitude force. That is, first the place would be gravitational force, next weak nuclear force, next electromagnetic force, next strong nuclear force. If at all they framed a question like this, name the central force. What would be the answer please? Name the central force. Means either it will be gravitational force or electromagnetic force. If they ask name the non-central force, of course a weak nuclear force or a strong nuclear force. Even they can frame questions like name the conservative type of force. You recall, name the conservative type of force. The conservative type of force means again a gravitational force or electromagnetic force. Name the force which obeys inverse square law of distance. Any guesses? Name the force which obeys inverse square law of distance. Yes, of course, that is a gravitational force or electromagnetic force. Do you know the force that is known to be present between any two charged bodies? The force that is known to be present between any two charged bodies, that is electromagnetic force. What is the nature of a strong nuclear force? That is attractive. What is the nature of electromagnetic force? Both attractive and repulsive. Name the short range force, that is a strong nuclear force. Like this you have to analyze the content of a basic force by framing such different questions. Agree? So now we move on to the next article of the lesson, physical world. The article is a scope of physics. So we are all following the guidelines of your Karnataka U4. Okay? The scope of physics. So what do you mean by scope of physics? The range or the extent to which the physics field covers. So first of all it covers branches like mechanics. What you deal over there, that is the motion of a body is under the action of forces. Electrodynamics, the motion of a charge. Then thermodynamics, that is heat energy conversions into useful work. Optics, here we are learning light sources, properties of light, even extending idea to understand the nature of light. So then the nuclear physics, specifically in nuclear physics we learn two important reactions like nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. So like this the scope of physics is so vast, it is beyond the limit now. Because so the developments nowadays is very fast, therefore the scope of physics is beyond the limits now. Okay, and one more thing, the scope of physics now we can concise to like this: atomic to astronomical phenomena. Just see, even if you want to deal minute concepts, there also physics has its ready answers. And the astronomical phenomena, there also the physics laws can be used to analyze the astronomical phenomena. And not only that, the scope of physics you can segregate like this also. It can deal scope of physics deals with what? Length range. Now we are in a position to measure length range of order. Just see, 10 raised to minus 15 meter. Do you know what is it called? Fermi. The Fermi is also smallest unit of length. Anybody knows the largest unit of length? Sometimes we go for a parsecond, and the 10 raised to minus 15 meter. And the length range for 10 raised to minus 15 meter is for a nuclear radius. Your nuclear radius lies in this range only, to 10 raised to 26 meter. And what is such a large length? Who has the observable universe? Okay, the observable universe has a length range in the order 10 raised to 26. Next, you see mass range. Anybody knows which is the unit of mass? Generally, we refer unit of mass as a kg. Anybody knows the smallest unit of mass? Any guesses? Smallest unit of mass is atomic mass unit. And anybody knows which is the largest unit of mass? The largest unit of mass is the Chandrasekhar limit. And now we are able to measure mass range, that is 10 raised to minus 30 kg. This is of course electron mass, and to 10 raised to 55 kg, that is about a universal mass. Just see the scope of physics. It is from minute to micro to macro level. Now we are developing in both aspects, microphysics as well as macrophysics. Just see over here the time range, 10 raised to minus 22 seconds. This is the time duration for the life time of fundamental particles. And 10 raised to 18 seconds, this is the time duration we use to express the age of Earth. Just see. So this is what the scope of physics. Okay, the scope of physics has no limit from atomic to astronomical phenomena. We are extending our ideas to measure out. Basically, what I said in the earlier videos, physics basically talks about measurement only. Sometimes physics is called measurement science. Okay. Now just see over the range of length. We are now in a position to measure length range, mass range, and time range. Now, physics to technology. So, what is the difference between a science and a technology? So, what technology does? The scientific truths are practically implemented by whom? Technologists. So, rather I would say practical implementation of scientific truths is called as a technology. Sometimes you might have heard engineers makes the world. So all the scientific truths, actually they are in the form of a theory, are converted into practical applications by some field of a scientist called a technologist. But when they are transforming the scientific truths into technology, they are using different models, concepts, and etc. Okay. So now we will analyze the technology and the scientific principle involved in it. Okay, for example, the steam engine is a practically designed technology. It is the steam engine which underlines the principles of what? Laws of thermodynamics. And do you know there are two laws of thermodynamics, that is the first law and second law. What is the first law? The work done to the heat supplied is always a constant, that is efficiency. What is the second law says? Without any external agency, it is not possible to transform heat from cold body to hot body. So such simple laws of thermodynamics will serve as a scientific principle in designing a machine called a steam engine. This is already, just see how the scientific principles enable us to design a machine called a steam engine. Now coming to the wireless telegraphy, and now you know the information and broadcasting is due to this wireless telegraphy. And you know we have a cabinet level ministry also, information and broadcasting ministry. Just see the development range, the wireless telegraphy. And this technology is possible because of scientific principles that is involved in the propagation of what? Electromagnetic waves. Do you know what are electromagnetic waves? Electromagnetic waves means these waves have a time varying electric and magnetic fields. Actually, the electric and magnetic fields are vibrating perpendicular to each other, and these disturbances will produce a light which is moving perpendicular to the plane containing electric and magnetic vectors, which we call as the electromagnetic wave. It is also disturbance, but light electromagnetic wave disturbance is created out of two fields. One is electric vector, other one is magnetic, and such waves now we can also produce by an accelerated charge. So you will learn such things on due course. Okay. So propagation of electromagnetic waves are used in a technology called the wireless telegraphy, and you are hearing our video sessions thanks to the electromagnetic waves only. The satellite communication is made possible because of the electromagnetic wave. Radio transmission, television transmission, mobile communication. See the scientific principle involved and see the technology we are using it. Okay. So this is what a wonderful thing the physics does. One more thing, when the technology of rocket designing comes, or rocket launching or propulsion, there also you can find the scientific principles are used. Not only in the propulsion of rocket, even in the designing of a rocket. So the Newton's laws of motions are used. I hope you know the rocket launching has a water principle in it, Newton's third law we say. Just see how the scientific principle helped us in designing a technology. Means rather a dream come true. Scientific truths are somewhat a dream, but the technology dream come true. Agreed? So now one more technology, that is aeroplane. Have you seen an aeroplane wings design? The aerodynamics that were used, the body of an aeroplane is streamlined. And if you see the wings of an aeroplane, on the top they are somewhat triangle shape, because when they are in a triangle shape, the air will move down with a high velocity. Because of that, over the wings low pressure is created, and below there is a flat surface. This design will help the aeroplane for soaring effect. Okay, so the streamlined shape of aeroplane will help while propagating or while cutting through the air. Is it not? These are the simple physics principles, designs which were derived from the scientific principle enabled the design of an aeroplane. So this theorem, that is the underlying principle in designing aeroplane wings and aeroplane body, are nothing but Bernoulli's theorem. So this is what the physics does to implement the truths to the society in the form of what? Technology. Okay. Next article is unification theory. So what is unification theory? Just see over here. A single theory that explains all the different phenomena. A single theory that explains all the different phenomena. For example, laws of gravitation. You can use the laws of gravitation not only to deal with terrestrial mechanics, even celestial mechanics also. The simple basics laws can be used for terrestrial as well as celestial mechanics. Same Newton's formula. That is, while calculating the force between the two masses of any two bodies on the earth, the same formula could be used to measure force between the mass of earth as well as mass of sun. Just see, the same basic law can be applied in different regions and different domains also. So why this is possible? Because of the unification theory. Earlier we used to deal that those aspects are different, but some scientists thought that the same simple rules can be used for any domains. So that is what the special feature about what? The unification theory. Now listen over here. Electromagnetic theory. Just see, the three different phenomena were combined over here. One is electricity, other one is magnetism and optics. So the concept of electromagnetic theory inculcates three different phenomena. Actually, it unifies the three different phenomena. Earlier we thought electricity is a different, magnetism is a different, optics is a different. But the Maxwell's electromagnetic theory inculcated all these phenomena to a single theory called the electromagnetic theory. So how the electromagnetic theory explains the fact? So he says electric and magnetic vectors are vibrating perpendicular to each other when they are setting the disturbance with time. They are actually time dependent disturbances. They are vibrating mutually perpendicular to each other, and out of them a light will propagate. Okay, actually light is the vector product of electric and magnetic fields. So that is a wonderful concept to combine two different phenomena to generate one more phenomena called light that comes under optics. Just see the unification theory. So this will help in understanding the world. This will definitely help in understanding the world. What we usually thought the world is so complicated, but unification theory will help you to understand the world with the same basic laws. Not only in what we have said earlier, terrestrial domain, even in celestial domain also. And one more thing, electromagnetism. This is also another unification theory. Just see two different phenomena are mixed here. One is electricity, other one is magnetism. So whenever magnetic field is varied, so that produces a current. When electricity is varied, that produces a magnetic field. There is a close relation between electricity and magnetism. So for example, we actually receive current by changing magnetic field only. So how the current is generated? Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. That is nothing but a transformation of magnetic field into current. So how this is possible? Because they are unified basically. The nature has made them to unify. Magnetism is a separate entity, electricity is a separate entity, we thought. But unification theory enables us to combine. Actually, you have when a varying magnetism field you have, that produces electricity, and a varying electric field if you have, that produces what? Magnetism. That is what the concept of unification theory. Now we move on to the one more concept called the excitement of physics. What is excitement? Just you are hearing this lesson and you have seen many interesting facts we have revealed. So let me go on for the excitement of physics. So what is excitement of physics? Just see. Excitement of physics means just now we have seen with the help of physics it is possible to understand the universe not only in a macro level, even in micro level. And sometimes some questions like what are electron? So sometimes we used to ask the questions, what are electron? What are atoms? What are electrons? Now we are in a position to answer such questions. What are electrons? What are atoms? Okay, such interesting questions you can get the answers in physics. And what are molecules? Now you know the answers, I hope so. Electrons are now considered as a fundamental particle. But what is excitement of physics? Earlier we thought atom made up of only electrons, protons and neutrons. Now we have 36 fundamental particles within the atoms. That is what the beauty of physics, the discoveries of physics, that is the excitement of physics. Now we are analyzing the matter in a minutest way. Okay. So what are the molecules? Such interesting questions can be answered. And why the color of the sky is blue? I hope you have studied the scattering of light. Rayleigh's scattering, May scattering, MIE scattering. Raman scattering. Just see all these, why the color of sky is blue, why oceanic water is blue. Such questions answers you can get in the field called physics. And moreover, why the sunrise and sunset is red? I hope you know it is due to atmospheric refraction. Again the physics, the idea. So while answering the why sunrise and sunset is red, you can answer the sunrise and sunset red on the basis of a refraction of light, atmospheric refraction of light. Why the sun appears elliptical? It is due to vertical refraction of light. Why the mirages are seen in the desert? That is due to total internal reflections. Why the diamond shines? Again due to total internal reflections. And how the light is communicated through the optical fibers? That is again due to total internal reflections. And do you know, on the surface of Mars, the sunrise and sunset appears to be blue, whereas the sky over there is orange. So wonderful ideas and wonderful answers also provided in the field called physics. So that what it covers as excitement. Here the excitement of physics never ends. Okay, the quest for the analysis of universe continues, so the excitement of physics also continues. Okay, students.